Hi, my name is Robyn Phillips, and this is the process from She To Her. The process from She To Her was founded out of my own wilderness, and that's what brought us here today. I knew I couldn't do it by myself, so I brought a friend to join me.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Trae.
Okay, listen, we're going to touch on a really hard topic. We're going to find freedom to release, and we're going to keep digging until we find a solution. Let's get into it. Today's topic is molestation. Okay, listen. This is a topic that a lot of people do not like to talk about. It's something that is hard, tough, and it's a silent killer. So I want to kind of talk about molestation and how it affected your life. Well, let's even the playing field. How it affected our life. Okay, so listen. I talked to somebody today about my experience and saying, hey, we're going to talk about molestation, right? And I said, well, I haven't been molested, but I've been touched, right? And he asked me what was the difference, and I couldn't tell him. Because I'm now finding out there's no difference.
Really isn't a difference. Molestation is molestation, whether it's penetration, whether it's touching, whether it's whatever it is, it's still being molested. You're still being violated.
Still being violated. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about violating and how that affects your everyday living. Let's talk about it.
Oh, hell. I mean, just simple stuff like trusting what people tell you. It's always going to give you a sense of trust issues. You're going to struggle with control, and it affects your relationships, communication, your comfortability level with people. Just it's a plethora of things that can stem from the after effects of being violated.
After effects. So listen, I'm going to give you some truth, and you'll give me some truth, and we'll figure it out. My molestation started when I was 5. And it was somebody I trusted that took me to get ice cream. And he would sit me on his lap and pull me close and fondle me. Well, Trae, I am not trying to cry with you, but I guess tears is all right. Because somewhere in the Bible, God talks about the tears and how he bottled them up. So I feel like he feels that that's a special moment, and it's all right to shed a tear too, right?
If you need to.
Yeah.
Mine happened when I was 8, and it was only one time. And it happened in very close quarters. My mom was very protective over me and my brother. We wasn't going out of her sight. You wasn't hanging out at nobody's house. I don't know them people. I don't know what they do. I don't know what they about. And I don't need any instances where something happens to my child. And she did everything that she could to make sure that she kept us safe and protected us. And it still wasn't enough. Not to say that it was her fault. No. But what was going to happen was going to happen.
It was going to happen.
And it happened.
And it happened.
And it took me some years to even be willing to talk about it. Now, my brother has known for years, because that is just the level of communication that we have. We, between me and him, don't have any secrets. And my mom often jokes that if one of us killed somebody, we'd call the other one to help us out. Mm-hmm. And you would not be able to crack either brother. Right. And that is just how tight we are. But as far as like telling my parents, telling my friends, I was an adult. Like, I was 21. So, I have a and question. It happened when I was 8. So
it brings a level of shame. Did you feel like it was your fault?
No, I never felt like it was my fault. What I did feel like, however, is that my life was so good compared to the person that violated me. So I was like, I always felt like people would be like, this is that happened to you from this person. Like, look at my life. It's picture perfect by all accounts. I have both parents in the house, and we live a middle class lifestyle, and my parents make good money. My dad's military. My mom was a federal employee for some years, and like you on the outside looking in, I
Of
mean,
course.
both me and my brother were academically and sports gifted, so we both played sports. We all that good stuff. So like you got all this good stuff going on, and then there's this level of you know there's this level of torture essentially that you have gone through by yourself. And so I was like, man, I can take this to my grave. That's what I told my best friend in college. I was like, I plan on going to my grave with this. I ain't got to tell nobody. I don't need to. It don't need to come out in my relationships. Like it don't affect. I'm good. Like I can deal with this on my own.
But you know what? So okay, you said it don't need to come out in relationships. How have it come out in relationships?
Every woman I've dated, I've told seriously on an adult level. So if she can't tell you that I shared that with her, then I wasn't serious, or we weren't, or I didn't take her that serious. But every
Well,
woman that I've been involved with on a serious level knows about this.
well, what about the effects that it have on a relationship in a negative standpoint?
Oh, it almost ripped one of my friendships apart because my friend thought that I was lying to her about one thing when it was just that I was dealing with that. And it was kind of like it's like a Pepsi bottle erupting. It
It
you
explodes.
shake up a bottle, and the pressure's there, but the bottle's closed. The cap hasn't been popped yet, and so I was walking around smiling like everything was all right, and I was about to explode on the inside. Just different things would happen, and it would bring back up certain stuff. Then you see stuff on TV, and it triggers certain things and whatever. Like it was literally like a Pepsi bottle erupting, and so me and my best friend, I'm talking about, we got into like we stopped talking. We got into this loud ghetto argument outside her apartment, like we screaming at each other. Because my thing is, I'm a person, and this comes from that. Don't back me into a corner. I become very dangerous when I feel like I'm being cornered.
Oh.
Um, don't give me an ultimatum, and don't tell me what to do. It's a control thing. And even now, I still struggle with it. But that's what I felt like was happening. She was backing me into a corner. And I cared more about my friendship than I did about my secrets. So I told her. I told her the truth. And it was also more of it that wasn't good. Not in the context that I
To
told her.
care,
Hold
but
on.
to
I'm gonna
care
tell you
more
why. I'm
about.
gonna tell you why that instance wasn't good.
Okay.
Because it was I'm gonna prove you wrong moment. You think this is what's going on, but really it's something completely different. And instead of you letting me come to you in my time, you want to back me in a corner so you're gonna look stupid. It was a controlled aspect of it. Cause what do you say when you assume something and you create a whole scenario in your head and it's a complete 180? There's egg on your face, and that's what it was.
So
It
you
was a
just proving her
it was
wrong.
a I'm right, you're wrong moment. And if you had just chilled, you probably would have got that information later on. And I promised myself that I would never allow anybody to put me in that type of
But
predicament
it's
again.
controlling. That's the thing that people don't realize is that it controls us. And what we're trying to do is cut off its legs but give it voice. Right?
I still
Because a
struggle with
lot of
control.
people don't talk about it, Trae.
Oh, I've gotten better with it, but I would spiral when I would lose control in situations. My whole life has been patterned around me being able to control everything. Where I went to school, where I worked, what I drove, what I wore, how I kept my bank accounts, how I kept my house, how my relationships ran, how I could drive I've always been career driven. I've always been very ambitious. I've always been hardworking, but it was contingent on me being able to control the situations because I can be in a room and work a room. I've never had an issue with that. I've gotten jobs on first interviews
So you've
before.
learned how to put on some layers.
I wouldn't necessarily call it layering. I've learned how to navigate my life the way that I wanted to.
Hiding.
In a sense, in that aspect, yeah.
Yes. Because we hide. We hide. When it's something we can't deal with, it's something there's some like, and I'm gonna say this, for me, I blamed me. I felt like something was wrong with me for it to happen to me.
Mine was more so, God, why did you give this to me? Why? Why this one? Why? Because it's it can have negative effects on dating. Very heavy.
Huge.
And not from the aspect of, oh my God, you went through that, I can't deal with it, but the shit that goes on in your head, because you create scenarios in your head. You are overly pessimistic.
Yes.
You're untrusting. You're guarded. Because I don't let many people get close to me. I know a lot of people. I have a lot of associates. I have very few friends. Very few. There are very few people on the face of this earth
How that make you
that can tell. I very much enjoy it. I very much enjoy protecting my peace and my energy.
Trae, I don't like to walk this world by myself.
Oh, no. I have great friends. I have core friends. They ain't going nowhere. What I'm saying is I'm very selective about who they are. Just because you are in my presence doesn't mean you get to be in my space. And there's a difference between being in my presence and being in my space.
That's true. Well, for me, I know I don't want to be lonely or by myself. And the funny thing is that it caused me to be in the corner. It backed me into a corner. It really did. So now, when I'm dealing with something, I have to go by myself because that's what I'm known for. And I'm learning how to peel that layer back. It actually created a lot of layers for me. I could remember just lying, trying to be something that I was not. All right? Because I'm a Phillips girl. And in my hometown, that's a good thing. But guess what? I was a broken Phillips girl.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know how to deal with that. I didn't know how to deal with that outwardly.
I
Right?
like to refer to myself as shattered glass. Have you ever seen tables and the table's smooth, but the glass itself is shattered? Like, have you ever seen, like, it's purposely shattered glass? I would like to, that was me, except there was a tint because you couldn't see the shattered pieces. See, we can look at shattered glass. We can look at it. We can see that something's wrong with it. We can see that there's a problem. However, when you have stained glass that's shattered, it's kind of hard to tell. You just see stained glass, and there could be a crack in it, but you won't notice it. And I was the same way. I excelled in everything. And I do mean everything that I put my hands to succeeded. But I couldn't control that.
But then what about what you just said? Because it was one thing that you didn't control, and that was the makeup of relationships and friendships. Because even though you was the stained glass, it still showed its cracks.
It did. That's what I said. I was
Because
stained glass.
that's what molestation does. Molestation, I keep saying, don't give it legs. Cut the legs off. Because when it has legs, it controls you. But we take our control back and give it a voice saying that this happened to me, but I am not a victim. I'm a victor.
And see, this was the thing that God spoke to me about that, because for the longest time I was numb. Like, I went through, when I was going, I still see a therapist. I personally feel like everybody needs one.
Yes.
Whether you got good stuff going on, whether you got bad stuff going on, you need somebody that you can go talk to unbiased and just be like, doctor, I had a shitty day today. And if that's the case, if that is what you need to say to your doctor to convey how you feel, I feel like everybody needs that. But when I started going to therapy, it was heavy. Like, the first day I went and came back, I came back from therapy, and I was at my best friend's apartment. We were still in college. This was my senior year of college. And I broke down. Like, I'm not talking about a normal just cry. No. I was on the floor in the fetal position, and my mother thought I needed to be on suicide watch. She told my mama. My mama told my best friend. She was like, "Please take care of my child tonight, because I don't know where his mind is at." And so the thing that God dealt with me about it, and for the longest time, like, I would have those kinds of episodes. Not often, but when they would come, and it would be heavy waves. And last year, God dealt with me, and I went through almost like a breaking. like when he just stripped away some stuff.
Yeah.
And so the thing that God dealt with me about is that because you dealt with this, because you were strong enough to get through it, nobody else in your family will ever have to deal with this.
That's good.
That curse has been broken. And what's crazy to me is I sat there and I was like, of all the people, me? Why me?
Why not you?
And I said, after I had that interaction, and I feel like everybody needs that moment with God. I can't even describe to you what it was like. It was literally like when people say they die and they see those white clouds. When God touches you like that, and it was literally like, this is the reference it's like God took a fishing hook, and I was in the fetal position this happened at Dream Center, as a matter of fact. And God dealt with my pride as he dealt with all of this. Because anytime I would have an occurrence where God would do some healing or God would do some breaking or chipping away, it was always in a public setting. I was never hidden. This happened at the end of a service while everybody is walking around me and I'm laying on the floor in the fetal position and all I can do is literally scream. That's all I could do was holler. And so it was like, after the fact, it was almost as if God took a fishing hook and put it down my throat to my feet. And he would reel it back in. And the more I would utter, the more my body would stretch itself out. And it was like he took that broken 8-year-old and slowly, in a matter of minutes, made him whole, made him new, took it all away, all of it, and just, the slate is clean. Mm-hmm. Now what you do with it is up to you. And so I said to my best friend when I was telling her about it after the fact, I said, to endure what I've endured over the past 12, 13 years, hell, and longer than that now, whatever 8 minus 27 is, can't do the math, not right now anyway. I said to deal with what I've dealt with the past umpteen amount of years, to have that moment with God again, I do it all over again.
That's it.
Because I literally couldn't speak.
Yes.
Like, you sit there and you just process everything that happens.
Yeah.
And when somebody prays over you and the things that you literally told God in secret, they're praying it out loud, standing over you. That's nothing but God himself that has specifically sent somebody for that moment. And so my thing to everybody that has dealt with it or is dealing with it or going through it, it ain't gonna be easy.
But it's doable.
Oh, it's absolutely doable.
So listen, okay, what we're learning today is to chop it off at the feet, mm-hmm. to speak freely in it.
And to understand that there's a purpose behind it.
There's purpose.
That part is what people lose because they can't see past their own scope of view. And what I mean by that is you don't have God's eye to see what's going on. You have yours.
That's good.
But God can't give you all of it because if he showed it to you, then why would he need to be there? And so when you get past the point of your understanding is when God can kick in. Because if you can understand it, that's not God. Wow. If you can regulate it, if you can ration it, if you can reason it, if you can make it make sense, that is not God. When you get to the point where it's beyond your understanding and it's beyond your comprehension, and you can finally agree to let go, that is where God can kick in. And that is where God can take over.
And that's when we trust God. All right? So listen, I hope you like what you're hearing. I want you to know you don't have to give up. And that this here is something we can conquer and get over, right? Listen, meet us here, same time, same place. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe at From She To Her. This is a process.